With the MLB regular season winding down, now is a perfect time to dive into some hot topics in the baseball world. Hello everyone and welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Logan Bourandas alongside Brendan Conroy. So let's jump into some of the top stories in the MLB season thus far. So Brendan, with the Albert Pujols chase to 700, with Aaron Judge also going for history, what's one other storyline from this MLB season that has really stood out to you?
I mean, you just brought up two powerhouses, and you know how much I love powerhouses. Who am I going to talk about? The boys in blue, the LA Dodgers. They have just been consistent every single year, year after year. We complained that they won during the COVID season, and a lot of people say that that shouldn't count or it should have an asterisk next to the banner. But look what they're doing this year. They're the first team to 100 wins. They still have 17 games left. They could go 110 wins easily, maybe even 112. Who knows? They get 5 losses. That's 12 more wins. That's going to be a crazy record for them for this season. They just swept the Giants, and they are not slowing down anytime soon. Do they have any competition in the NL West to look out for? Maybe with the Padres they did, now that Juan Soto is heading for them. But with losing Tatis to performance-enhancing drugs, there's not really too much threat in that West. Anyways, the Dodgers are way too comfortable. They are way too strong. Their lineup is too good. I don't think they really have much to lose, and I don't think they will lose heading into these playoffs.
The Dodgers don't have a lot of competition in the NL West, definitely not a lot of competition in their own city. The LA Angels, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the beautiful land of Los Angeles. The Angels were off to a hot start to open up the season. Then early June, a huge losing streak kind of struck the team down, and during which they fired manager Joe Maddon, who had won a World Series in years past, and since then they just haven't recovered. One of the worst teams in the AL right now, went on a spending spree at the trade deadline, traded to guys like Noah Syndergaard, Brandon Marsh, among other names, and even questioned trading away Shohei Ohtani, and his contract expires next season as well. And with Art Moreno trying to sell the team, there's a lot up in the air in LA, and Mike Trout, he's had his career wasted there for quite some time, and it's definitely not looking like it's getting better after such a hot start to the season.
Yeah, Logan, I got to say, I'm really happy you brought up the Angels because it's going to play a big part in one of my questions later, but I'll ask you first. What do you think now that the awards are getting closer? Obviously, Paul Goldschmidt's a lock. What do you think we're going to see, or do you have any hot takes, rather, for some awards that we're going to see at the end of the season?
Yeah, let's shift over to the AL and the Rookie of the Year race. Julio Rodriguez has had such a hot start with the Mariners, came in second in the home run derby, but you can argue that Adley Rutschman with the Baltimore Orioles has just made a bigger impact. Rutschman has played 30 less games or so than J-Rod, but the war between these two players, wins above replacement, Rutschman is just one point below Rodriguez despite playing so many less games and playing an important position at catcher, or at least more important than outfield when it comes to positions like that. Rodriguez also strikes out at a much higher rate, around 25% compared to Rutschman's 17. He provides that bigger impact for the Orioles, and Baltimore, they were down in the dumps when Rutschman was called up, kind of lower level the AL East like they had been for so many years, and Rutschman kind of led that spark to now where the Orioles were down here kind of in the dumps of the East to the first team out of that wild card spot. And J-Rod, the Mariners were like right out of it last year, then he came up, and they're just barely in it right now. So when you take a look at who's had the bigger impact on their team, the former number 1 overall draft pick takes the cake.
Yeah, and I like how you use the expression, who has the bigger effect on the team, because that's why I'm glad you mentioned the Angels, because Ohtani, they were looking to trade him. He has 1 year left. He's not making an impact for the team as a whole. They have also Mike Trout, so the Angels should be doing well. But a team like the Yankees need a guy like Aaron Judge. And my hot take is that he's a guaranteed lock for MVP. And if Aaron Judge does not win the American League MVP, I will quit this show and you'll never have to see me again. That is how certain I am that Aaron Judge will be the American League MVP. I have no doubt that he will win. If you look at it from a number standpoint, he has the numbers, he has the average. The only thing that Angels fans or other people may argue is that Ohtani does both and he can play both sides of the field, but that is irrelevant when the Angels are in third. Most valuable player, most valuable for the team, and that makes the team better. Aaron Judge makes the Yankees better in one of the toughest divisions in baseball, the American League East. It's super important that the Yankees have Judge. He's on the road to 60 home runs, and he's going to a crazy playoff if he can keep this up. I think that not only the regular season, but Aaron Judge could make a run for one of the more valuable players in these playoffs.
Well, I'm sure no one would like to see you quit the show, Brandon. At least I hope. Something that hasn't been quitting is the MLB's effort to change the new playoff format, which will see each league add a new playoff team and only 2 teams in each league getting a bye into the NL or ALDS. So I got to ask, with this year being the debut of this new format, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, take a look at this. I feel like this is a joke. I feel like we are giving out participation trophies. Once again, this is exactly what baseball should stray away from. Back in the old days, it used to be the best team in the American League, the best team in the National League. You play a game and you win. Now they're trying to bring in all these wild cards. They're trying to copy the NBA. I'm not a fan. I don't like how you can get the 6th seed in. The NBA is doing 7-8. Baseball's getting close to that, and that just doesn't seem right to me. I like the 2 wild card game. I like the teams, how you play one game, and that solves it. One bye is fine, but giving another team a bye just kind of defeats the purpose of competition. Teams aren't going to try as hard or really put as much effort into their team if everybody's going to get their easy spot in these playoffs. I think it's just silly to me. Honestly, I think it should have stayed the way it is. I don't like this new playoff format, but we'll see what happens. It worked in the NBA. Maybe it works here, but I just don't think it's for me.
You may influence a lot of people from time to time. You're not influencing me here. This change is going to benefit the MLB for sure. And you take a look at the NBA, they have 8 teams in each league, so you pretty much have a team kind of around the 500 mark getting in. It's not the case when each league is going to have 6 teams in. You saw last year in the American League, the Seattle Mariners, Toronto Blue Jays, first 2 teams out, both were very close or on the cusp of 90-win seasons. And you take a look at having one of the division leaders not having a bye to the DS. You take a look at both central divisions. Those divisions are terrible year in and year out. We're seeing the same exact thing this year. So it forces them to have that extra 3-game series, which all 3 games are played at their home stadium. So that does help them. But I think this change will be a positive one for years to come.
Yeah, we'll have to see how these storylines turn out and what happens in the playoffs this season. That'll wrap up this edition of Penn State Sports Night. For Logan Bourandas, I'm Brendan Conroy. Thank you and have a great night.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind the scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.